Hey, New Life Church, it's Laura. Just wanted to spend some time sharing with you some of the incredible, amazing things that God is doing with this team. Really quick, we just want to share some testimonies with you. And one of the things that God really specifically laid out for this team were specific battle points, specific prayer points for this team. And two of those specific battle points are, one of them is the spirit of poverty, and the other one is the spirit of addiction. So on Friday, we ended up meeting at Strong Tower, worshiping, basically praying over these two major battle points, and the Lord led us out to just stand out in front of the Strong Tower Church, and God literally just brought in every single person that we had prayed for. The testimonies that are about to follow are basically just answers to our prayers.
Hey New Life, hey The Gathering. I'm really excited to share this testimony with you guys. It was the first drunk that we encountered, and his name was John. So the story goes like this. I was in the church and I walked out, and Savannah and Anna were praying for him, and I had no idea who he was. And he had a sport coat on, it was dirty, and he was just asking them to pray for a job or something like that. Well, we ended up getting him to come into the church to talk to him some more, and he sat down with Anna and myself and Pastor Rosemary, who's the pastor of Strong Tower, and we just sat there and prayed for him and talked to him and asked him questions. And he was kind of hesitant. He kind of tried to take the conversation elsewhere and go off on tangents and stuff like that. But we knew that the Lord wanted to set him free from the very beginning. And so Pastor Rosemary kind of took over the conversation, got him to stop the chit-chat, and just started talking to him in his native language, and it was amazing. And Anna and I just sat there and prayed under our breath and just watched as he began to harden his heart to the Lord. And we discovered that he had made a pact with some demons, and he'd actually had a ring on his ring finger that signified that pact. And so his fist like clenched up when Pastor Rosemary tried to hold his hand while she was praying for him. And I was holding his other hand, and he was very hesitant, and whatever spirit was in him was just like not letting him let go. And so we just continued to pray for him and ask him questions. And the next thing, he got up, kind of in an anger, and said, "Fine, I'll take it off." And he took it off, and we're all looking at him, and he's holding in his other hand, and we had expected him to just give it right to Pastor Rosemary, but he put it right back on and just hardened his heart. And we're standing there, and we're like, okay, we're going to have to really pray now. And Pastor Rosemary turned around and told us to all begin to just intercede and to pray for him. So we all just stood there. He was standing there watching all of us just praying for him. And I could literally see the love of God pouring into his heart and just breaking him and breaking that stronghold off of his heart. And he finally gave up, took it off with a little resistance, and put it in Pastor Rosemary's hand. And we just all broke out in like the most happy smiles. We were full of joy. And so we took the ring and we brought it outside and put a little petrol on it and lit it on fire and put it on the ground and watched it burn.
Earlier in the day, a bunch of us had gone out and prayed against the breweries, which supply all the alcohol for Nairobi and mainly Kawangware. And on our way back, they began burning the ring, as Ryan had talked about. And Moses, who was a water bringer to the breweries, came in and was asking what we were doing, burning something in the middle of the street. And Pastor Rosemary just explained to him, and then Pastor John asked him if he wanted to accept Jesus. And he fell right to his knees in the middle of the street, lifted up his hands, and Pastor John led him right there to the Lord as we just sat around and prayed for him. So it's been pretty cool.
The next story is about two well-known alcoholics in Kawangware named John and Joseph. Joseph brought John to receive Christ, and Mom talked to both of them outside of the church. And when John was ready to come in and receive Christ, he came in and we prayed for him, and he received Christ.
And that's when Mom went outside and started talking to Joseph. And Joseph is actually a really great story that we learned. And when he came to the church, he brought his friend to get prayed for and to get saved, but he didn't want anything to do with that. So Mom went outside and she started talking to him, and eventually he decided that he wanted to get saved. And when we brought him in to get prayed for, there was a huge difference. So we prayed for him, and he got saved. And when he got saved, John actually laid hands on him. So the one that just got saved laid hands on his friend to get saved as well. And the difference between their faces was incredible. when Joseph was out there talking to Mom, he had a very stone cold face and just no emotions. And then when he came back in and he got saved, there was joy in his heart, and you could see the love of Jesus flowing through him. And we later found out that Joseph was actually a murderer, and he said that he felt so guilty because he was tormented by his hands and what his hands had done, that he was drawn to the church. And the Lord's presence drew him in, and both got saved together.
So as you've heard, there's been a lot of awesome testimony here. God has really been moving. He's really been pouring his love out over his people of Kenya, and really just hitting the heart of Kenya and Kawangware. We thank you for everything you've been doing in prayer. We hope you've been encouraged by this video. We still have another week here, so I hope that you continue to pray with us and battle with us as we go about it. And we love to come back, tell you the stories, tell you the testimonies, and share with you what God has done.